feel like a fucking idiot.
Welcome back to So You're Interested In, the show where I break down an artist's discography in order to give you, the viewer, the best possible jumping off point in order to get into their catalog. On this installment, let's take a look at the legendary power violence band, Reversal of Man. Getting their start in Tampa, Florida way back in 1995, this was a short-lived but incredibly influential outfit. Combining aggressive emo and hardcore with their politically charged lyrics led to dominant, potent, and overwhelming results. They didn't just stick with a classic hardcore sound, however, as they incorporated elements of screamo, power violence, and grindcore into their ruthless music. The band itself only lasted until the year 2000, but the fiery legacy they left behind is still felt to this very day. But I'll tell you up front, Reversal of Man is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Even if aggressive music isn't your thing, I'm still going to recommend 2 albums and 3 individual tracks so you can give Reversal of Man a fair chance. As per usual, we're gonna start with the albums. The first Reversal of Man record you should spin is their 1998 EP, Revolution Summer. If this is truly your first taste of Reversal of Man, then boy oh boy, you are in for a good one. This 17-minute effort will brutalize you thoroughly, leaving you to gasp for air as you were smothered by their suffocating chaos. And while this is utter screamo mayhem, the songs themselves are rock solid and strikingly arranged. You'll get your first proper ass beating with the opening cut, The Setup. To put it gently, there is no testing the water before diving into Revolution Summer, as the setup blasts through your eardrums with zero concern for your well-being. Yet through the noise, you still get plenty of killer grooves and some instrumental change-ups that are more nasty than an Allen Iverson crossover. Following the setup is the song Qantas. This is another violent piece, go figure, but it is also kind of a gorgeous track. The band pulled the emotional lyrics word for word from a letter that was sent from a friend who eventually became a Reversal of Man guitarist, as he described how much this band meant to the Florida scene. Another standout from these 7 songs comes in the form of Hollow Body. Once again, this is a fully realized and exceptionally written song that also isn't afraid to be vulnerable with some quieter sections. The performances across the board are stellar and are a great indication that this band has even more to offer on future projects, which we'll be getting to shortly. But before we move on, let's tackle one last song, the absolutely essential Get the Kid with the Sideburns. A short burst of anger, the lyrics on this one are actually based on a true story. To make a long story short, Reversal of Man and other Florida legends Earth Crisis had beef, and when things turned ugly at an Earth Crisis show, one of the Earth Crisis crew members shouted, "Get the kids with the sideburns," and a riot ensued. The anger and anxiety of this moment is brought to life in such an accurate and understandable manner. When it's all said and done, Revolution Summer is not only an essential Reversal of Man record, but it's also a titan of the screamo genre. Be sure to give this one a serious listen. Next up, you're gonna have to toss on their 1999 landmark LP, This Is Medicine. Thrusting the sounds and concepts of Revolution Summer into new and uncharted territories, This Is Medicine is a massive leap forward, not just for the band, but for aggressive music in general. So much so that it's not that much of a hot take to claim that this is one of the best emo violence albums ever recorded. High praise, yes, but once you hear the opening track, January 22nd, it'll start to make more sense. The Wall of Sound intro is an instant gut punch, while the vocals continually slash and stab in your direction. The overall sound is cleaner, but that doesn't make it any less angry. This song's arrangement is specifically the bass transition into the closing half of the track. Another burst of energy comes in the more hardcore focused cut, Butterflies. The drums on this thing slap hard as shit, and the manic outro is superb. The song Bless the Printing Press is a fucking blast, with some of the most driven material on the entire album. This is some ram your skull at full force into a wall just because you can type music, especially thanks to the insane percussion switch-ups. On an LP that is objectively full of ragers, Bless the Printing Press could possibly be the hardest one of the pack. Before we talk about some tracks, I would be absolutely terrible at my job if I didn't mention the song Hills Have Eyes. This thing is viscerally pissed off and is brought to life in one of Reversal of Man's more unique approaches. The vocals are relied upon very heavily on this cut, but that all comes to pay off when the lines "nothing more, nothing less" are repeated ad nauseum as the track comes to a close. The 4 tracks that I just mentioned only add up to a quarter of the entire track listing, so do yourself a favor, sit down and listen to this entire thing. After all, This Is Medicine isn't even a full 19 minutes long. Now that we covered the albums, let's take some time and talk about some tracks. The first Reversal of Man song you should seek out is Paddy's Lucky Number 7 from their 1996 split 12-inch with Holocron. I don't know if it's just because I listened to this song on the Nothing More Nothing Less compilation, but this cut sounds freaking fantastic. The intro is very reminiscent of Slint, but once this thing really kicks off, Paddy's Lucky Number 7 is in a league of its own. The vocal delivery whips over this strangely fuzzy percussion and unwound like bass line. Being one of their first songs to be released, it doesn't really sound like Reversal of Man at their emoviolence peak, yet it's still a goddamn ripper. Lord have mercy on your soul if you decide to skip this one. Next up, you should probably go and listen to Pilot Gumby, which comes off of their other 1996 split, this time with Puritan. Arguably one of the most deliberate and methodical songs in their discography, Pilot Gumby is twisted and complicated. The lyrics seem to be talking about working a dead-end job, and how this inability to escape work can leave you feeling depressed and lethargic. Instrumentally, this thing is unreal, packing in so many different progressions and ideas that it barely feels like one song. As I've obviously been listening to a lot of Reversal of Man, I think it's safe to say that this is one of my favorites. If you've ever had to work a bullshit job out of desperation, then you'll relate to this one rather quickly. Pilot Gumby is some of the best post-hardcore that Reversal of Man has ever churned out. Finally, I'd like you to take some time to check out Burial of the Dead from the band's 2002 EP Electric Youth Crew. This was the band's final release and was also a split with Combat Wounded Veterans. Suffice to say, this is yet another heavy one. Good God, I don't think it's possible for drums to sound more snappy and raw than they do here, as each snap feels like a dagger through the heart. It's a surprisingly mature recording too, showing off how far this band has come throughout the years. By no means is it their best song, but you'll absolutely be able to thrash around to the percussion smacks and angular guitars. Be sure to give Burial of the Dead a proper spin. And that will conclude my video covering Reversal of Man. Links to all the albums and tracks discussed here will be located in the video description box below. Scroll down even further to the comments section where you can let me know if you liked any of the albums or tracks that I recommended here. Maybe you're a big Reversal of Man fan and maybe you think that I completely butchered this list. That's fine. Go to the comments and let me know what you think I should have chosen. And while you're down there, be sure to recommend any artists that you'd like to see covered on this show. Just know that I do have a bit of a backlog built up, so if I don't get to it right away, it's nothing personal. I'm probably working on it. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos just like this every single week, along with other shows that I do like Stacks of Wax, The Variety Show, and Where It's At. I'm kicking around some other ideas as well, so if you're subscribed, you'll be the first one to know when one of these videos drops. And that is going to do it, outside of my usual reminder for you to go out and support your local record store if you are able to, along with the local artists in your area, and well, until I see you next time, happy listening.